Hello everybody, it's Taff coming with the Taff's Word on the eve of the new season. Looking forward to it as always, absolutely buzzing to be honest with you. Um, it seems as though near enough every season now is starting off with an away day. I think so far since we've been in the Football League we've only had two seasons that have been home games to kick the season off. Um, Lost both of them as it goes. And no, sorry, no. I'm completely incorrect on that one. It was three of them. Our first game of the season, our first Football League season for 25 years was obviously Accrington at home. Great game, winning 4-1. So the other two we lost. I remember we lost to Wickham 2-0. We lost to Mansfield 2 years ago 3-2 in Warren Feeney's first game in charge. Yeah, so the games that we kicked the season off away would have been, let me think, Cambridge away under Terry Butcher would have been the first one. Then last season away to Stevenage, and then a Mansfield away. And we all know what happened the last time we played Mansfield away, first game of the season. It was in 2012, 2013 in the conference, when we'd lost 5-0 in the previous fixture there. So, how many other people are lumping a load of money on Katie to get promoted if we win tomorrow? Especially if we win 4-3. It's got to be written in the stars, hasn't it? Yeah, so there we go. Tomorrow, travelling up to Mansfield. Word is we've only shifted around about 200 tickets, but there's talk that that could be down to the fact of the inconvenience of having to get the ticket from the town, which, yeah, is an inconvenience because the parking is awkward. It's difficult, whereas Rodney Parade was easy. You could nip during work, on a break, or on your lunch hour if you're local enough to go and get it, or you could ask somebody else who was going to go and get it for you. Now it's proved a bit more difficult to pick tickets up from within the Kingsway. So, hopefully a bunch of people are travelling up and are intending on paying the extra £2 to get in on the day. I know we do travel well when it comes to first games of the season away, but then paying on the day is generally good. But yeah, away days. I mean, I only ever really remember away days usually with the County when it comes to the first game of the season. Because back in the conference, first season back in the conference was the memorable trip to Darlington. Those of you who may remember that know that we took 500 to 600 fans all the way up there, and we sang them throughout the entire game, even though we lost 1-0. Then it was the season of promise that turned into a bloody nightmare when we were under Anthony Hudson. We went to play Kettering, who fair play had absolutely, what's the word I'm looking for? They had ploughed, that's the word, ploughed. They played a load of money into it, and they brought in loads of good players, although that opening fixture we lost, I want to say 3-1, 3-2, 2-1, 1-0. I don't know, my mind's a complete blank on that one. I'm usually good with my county history, but back then I used to get myself steaming on the match days, so that might be why I don't really remember it that well. But yeah, so every single season we kicked off in the conference. We kicked off with an away game, so I think I remember now it was nice to start at home against Accrington in our first season back. But we've had many Football League seasons now, and it's been great. And I believe now this is going to be our 6th season as a Football League club. This is the start of our 6th season. So we've maintained it. We've punched above our weight for a lot of it, of course. Les's money kept us afloat for the first two. I think the next one, I think we were lucky that Dagenham and York were that bad. Then the Great Escape, I think that the charm of Michael Flynn is what done it. And then obviously, we are where we are now, and we had a great season last season. For me, possibly on the scale of our budget in comparison to our achievement, I think that's got to have been our best season. Even though we finished in a higher position, I think it was a higher position in our second season. I'm babbling on you, and I'm just buzzing about it. I just can't stop talking. When it comes to football, I cannot stop talking about it. When especially on the eve of the first game of the season, I can't wait. You know, missed it all summer. The World Cup was great, obviously. I had a great, the World Cup was amazing, one of the best I've ever seen. But it's still not the same as, you know, it's a lifestyle when you follow football in the way that I do, the way that many of you do as well. You know, home and away with the county. It's a bloody lifestyle, and it's a routine you get into every Saturday. You're either travelling the country to go and watch a team, or you're planning a day in Newport to go and watch them at home. You know, it's very rare that we're not playing on a weekend. I think it's only if we get knocked out of the first round of the FA Cup, we're not playing for a weekend. So every single weekend, we're planning something, and it's not often that I miss an away game. It's only usually the Tuesday nights that I miss the away games. So I'm hoping to make sure I do at least 15 away games this year. I say there is the odd one or two that I either can't afford to go to, or you get to the point where it's like a Morecambe away. It's like, you're thinking on a Friday night, do I really want to go all the way up the Morecambe away? 9 times out of 10 you go, of course you do. But, having a bit of a break and keep your money back, and spending it in the club and not on somebody else's club, it tends to happen. But yeah, I'm just giving a little insight to my thought process when it comes to following the club. I mean, I absolutely love this club to bits, and I'd watch them play anyway. I went to Germany. If they would have let us go to Poland to go and watch them, when we went to Poland that year with Feeney, I'd have gone. But sometimes you think of a Saturday, it's going to be cold, it's going to piss down, it's going to be a long drive, and you think, do I really want to go that way? But you do, don't you? You still go, and you can always say, I went to go and watch the county play in a shithole, in shit weather, when I really could have just chilled out all weekend and put my feet up at home. That's dedication for you, yeah? And what's dedication for you is match days, when you're volunteering on a match day and it's hammering down. And I tell you something now, with the half-time draw, it happened a few times last year, and I hate it. Every single time it happens, I hate it, especially when it's cold as well. It's absolutely hammering down with rain. You're freezing, you're bastard freezing, and it's been absolutely slamming it down. You're pissed wet through, cold, you can barely feel your fingers, you can't feel your feet, you can just feel your clothes stuck to you because of the rain, and it is the worst. But it's going to happen on the day when it's going to rain, it's going to happen, but you still do it anyway. And for me, I've got a season ticket, so I'm not doing it for a ticket into the game, I'm doing it out of my love for the club. But you still do it. I mean, anything, if I could make a couple of £100 for the club on that main gate that day, I don't care what kind of weather it is, I'm making that couple of £100 for the club. That's going to pay, a third of one of our players' wages. My effort is going to pay a third of that player's wage for that week. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it all adds up. Half-time draw together, we made £10,000 for the club last season, plus. There's a little bit above 10,000. So if you take costs and things like that out, it'll come down a bit. But end of the day, it was 10 grand in money into the club's bank account last season, and we don't even know about unclaimed prizes either. So it was football for you, yeah. It's just the greatest thing on earth, isn't it? I mean, obviously the greatest invention on earth was obviously the wheel, but the second best invention was football. But then that's a debatable one. Which was best, football or the wheel? Well, at the wheel you can't travel to football. I suppose the round ball is sort of an advancement from the invention of the wheel. But at the end of the day, football... I'm talking a lot of nonsense here, but it doesn't matter because I'm just so buzzing for it tomorrow night. I missed it. You miss it so bad when it's not you. And knowing that the first one's tomorrow, knowing that we're going to a place where there's going to be a hostile environment, when it's going to be a difficult game, but you've got that bit of belief. We're going into a season with the belief. Under Butcher, we didn't go with belief. Under Feeney, we didn't go into the season with belief. I mean, we had a feeling with Feeney it would be better, but it wasn't. But we didn't go in there with belief. Under Flynn, last year, after the Great Escape, we went in with belief, and that belief saw us come from 3-1 down to draw 3-3 with Stevenage. That belief, because we've got the same belief now. Forget what's going on off the field. We've got that same belief. Mansfield away, I believe we can get something out of that game. Mansfield are spending a lot of money on players, yes, but I believe we're going to get something. And it's great to travel believing your team is capable of doing something. There was nothing worse than travelling knowing you were going to lose. And during our time under Wesley, under Feeney, under Butcher, and at times under Feeney and under Sheridan, even though Sheridan done well, Feeney done well in the early part of his tenure with the county, you never had that belief really, did you? I mean, I think the only really, really good sort of day 8 that we got out of it was Bristol Rovers back in them days. We had the Bristol Rovers 4-1 win away, which was amazing. But it kind of got eradicated then when they come and did the same thing to us later in the season. But look, it's just me, buzzed about football, rambling on about football. You may have watched this and thought, what the bloody hell's he been on about the last 11 and a half minutes? But end of the day, that's the effect it has on you, the eve of the new season. So I hope many of you are travelling up, and I see you all up there. All have a safe journey. And for those of you wondering whether I am taking a car or not, I'm not now. I'm going to post on Facebook in a little bit as well to say, look, I'm not taking the car now. Just going to go with Phil. I was hoping if I could fill a car, I'd take mine as well. But no, just jump in with Phil. Taff en route will be on. There will be a Taff en route. There will be a live stream from within the stadium on the build up the kick-off. But as soon as the game's ready to kick off, I'm going to have to switch it down, unfortunately. So plenty of videos hopefully as well, some good atmosphere videos, some new chants maybe. And the only other thing, our flags, unfortunately, although we thought they were going to be ready in time, aren't ready. So no new flags for this one, which is a shame. But it took a bit of time this summer to try and work everything out. But we got the design right in the end, thankfully. For those of you who think it's anything to do with hooliganism, I'm sorry, but you're completely wrong. There's no link to hooliganism with me or the group or anyone associated with the group, but there is a link to the fashion. That is the casual image, and it is just a fashion now. I mean, it's not a sign that I'm a hooligan because I'm dressed this way like it used to be. Now it's just an image. It's an image that people like to use. It's a fashion line. I mean, it's bloody, popular clothing that costs a lot of money. Now, clothing don't cost a lot of money because it's tied to hooliganism. It costs a lot of money because it's a desired brand of clothing. So anyone who links that kind of clothing to hooliganism needs to take a bit of a look and wake up and realise they're in 2018 and not 1988. It's 30 years on from when you would appropriate that sort of stuff with hooliganism. So, at the end of the day, it's an image that's adopted by a lot of Newport County fans. So let's be celebrating something that's appropriate and relevant for a change with Newport County, other than trying to be clever with things. Just pick something that's something to do with Newport and our support and run with that. And that's exactly the thought process behind the new flag. So I hope anyone who don't like it, if you don't like the design, that's fine. I'm not going to make everybody a fan out of it, of course not. But anyone who doesn't like it purely because they think it's a link to hooliganism, just have a step back and think about what I've just said. And if you still think that way, then, well, sorry, you're wrong. But there we go. Anyway, guys, thank you. Those going tomorrow, I'll see you up there. And those not, I should hopefully see you at the Crew game the week after. And if not then, at some point, I'm sure. So cheers all, and until the next time, cheerio for now. And as always, up the county.